Hey everybody, how's it going? So I am attorney Michael Ehline, and I am a natural law attorney. So that means that I support what Thomas Jefferson supported, which is Saxon common law traditions, except were abrogated by the Constitution, what our founding fathers wanted for this country, and except were abrogated again by the Constitution. And so I've been doing a lot of shows lately about gold and silver, about constitutional currency, but it all ties together. And it really starts with the education system. And so this show today is going to be dedicated to something that just blew my mind. So I was talking to my son today, and he started talking about this new thing, I guess, going around on the public school campuses called Therians. And these are people who think that they're animals. And I guess it's now part of the LGBTQ, transgender, whatever you call it, movement that is being pushed by the public school teachers on our campuses. And as you guys know, I'm into homeschooling. We homeschool our kids precisely because we don't think that some Marxist public school teacher should be raising our kids. Just like we don't think that a housemaid should be raising our kids, right? And I'm looking to see if anybody's joined me in the chat. Just give me 1 second, guys, as I'm talking. So I'm not going to be doing video. I'm not going to be doing video because I'm suffering from a bad back injury. I was injured when I was in the Marine Corps, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. So I stopped doing my shows, but I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing some of these shows even without the video, even though I'm on my back with an ice pack, because there's nobody out there getting out the other side of the story. There's nobody out there talking about what's going on. There's nobody out there who's really doing anything to stand up for parents and for normal people like you and I. It's always people pushing the precipice, people pushing the edge. So I said, I'm just going to do these anyways. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris, let people know I'm live. This is going to be a good one. We're going to talk about Therians. And I know that I'm in vertical mode, but that's just because we're going to get more people in the show. But again, I am a homeschool rights activist. And one of the things that got me started on my journey into homeschooling our kids is when the Democrats took power under Sleepy Joe. There was this big push to push transgenderism in the public schools, especially in California. And in California, it's considered to be a hate crime to not accept the gender that your teacher has assigned your kindergartner or your third grader. So if they decide that your little boy is a girl, not only do they have a duty to keep it a secret from you, but if you speak out against it, Child Protective Services can take your kid away from you. So we said, you know what, and I know this from being an attorney, and they're doing the same thing in Colorado. And this all really started when the Hunter Biden laptop pictures got released and people started getting censored for talking about it, getting banned from YouTube and Twitter for talking about it. So we pulled our kids out of the public schools, and it was the best thing that we ever did. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's going on with the public schools. And not all teachers are bad. I'm not saying that. In fact, I have many friends who are recovering public school teachers who had to leave the public school system because they're Christians. And Christianity is something that is really frowned upon. Hey, what's going on, Ann Passano? Christianity is really frowned upon by the public school system. And when I say Marxist run public schools, I know a lot of people will flip out and say, oh, you don't have any proof of that. Hey, JM, good seeing you, brother. You don't have any proof that the public schools are run by Marxists. Well, no, I actually do. And so I'm going to show you some of that proof today. But what it's called cultural Marxism. And so this was started by the KGB in the 80s, where the KGB infiltrated our schools in Hollywood. to push communism. And we have a new form of communism in this country called cultural Marxism. And basically, it's pushing anything that was considered immoral or mentally ill and forcing the kids to accept it as normal. And so we're going to get into a little bit about what's going on in the public schools. We're going to talk a little bit about kids that think they're animals and how if you talk out against it in the public schools, it's hate speech. And yeah, I'm with you, Y7 Chai. I mean, look, I'm a libertarian, so I'm totally cool. If you're a guy and you want to pretend like you're a girl, I don't have a problem with that. The issue that I have is forcing it on school children. I believe that schools should be for reading, writing, and arithmetic. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. It shouldn't be for pushing your political agenda. And even though I'm a libertarian, if I was a public school teacher, I wouldn't be pushing my value system on school kids. I would be there to teach them history, reading, writing, arithmetic, whatever it might be. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys feel the same way. And by the way, anybody who has questions, in fact, if anybody wants to join the chat, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Give me 1 second, guys. As long as you don't get crazy, anybody who wants to join the chat with me tonight, I'm popping a link. Popping a link in there if you guys want to join me, and we can talk about it. I love interviewing people. So JM, any of you guys who want to come in and join me, right on, Aunt Passano. Paisano. Yeah. So it's really just, and look, my friend JM, he's in Canada, and so he's well aware of what's going on with cultural Marxism and all the weird crap that they're pushing on people, flooding their country with illegal aliens and people who refuse to adapt to their culture. And people will say, "Oh, you're a MAGA because you support legal immigration," and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Supporting a secure border and only wanting people in your country who want to adapt to your culture is just normal. And I'm trying to figure out, where are these people getting this from? Well, it's from the college campuses and the public schools. And so we're going to watch some videos, and then I'm going to take you through towards the end, my friend Brett Pike, who runs a homeschooling organization, so we can talk a little bit about how parents can save your children from Moloch and Baal and all of these alternative forms of religion that the public schools are trying to push on your kids. And I believe that Epstein and all of his friends in Hollywood and these politicians, they're all corrupt. They're a den of vipers, Democrats and Republicans. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards the policies of the Republicans because they support a secure border. They support school vouchers so you get your kids away from these whack job teachers. But that doesn't mean that I'm a MAGA or whatever. I do believe that we should make America great again, but that doesn't mean that I am a quote unquote Trump supporter. It just means that I support his policies, most of them, especially abolishing the income tax and returning us to a tariff-based economy. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that the income tax is basically a form of class warfare. And when you look at all the government employees, they're all far left-wing Democrats. I mean, guaranteed tax-funded jobs for the rest of their life, but people who are business owners like us, they treat us like we're criminals, like we're exploiting the worker, right? And they're just ushering in the era of being replaced by robots, because no employer wants to hire someone who automatically thinks that their employer is trying to exploit them. As a matter of fact, before I start the show, so before I get into the videos, look, I worked for free and apprenticed to become a lawyer. I worked for free and apprenticed so I could learn how to become a painter's apprentice. I worked for free in the summer times to learn plumbing and electrical. My dad was a builder, a general contractor, and he had me work with all the different tradesmen. And I worked for free, what the modern Marxist public school system would call free. But for me, it was, I should be paying these guys because they're teaching me how to do something that's going to better myself. So the whole system is just screwed up. And it really started again with the KGB. And now communist China took over with the Confucian societies. And now you have college professors who are Antifa leaders. Most college campuses are far left. They wear Che Guevara t-shirts. They get a degree, what, in underwater basket weaving or African American studies, whatever it is, anti-white critical race theory. And then they get a job as a professional barista at Starbucks, and then they make extra money on the side as a paid protester, getting driven around to different cities to protest ICE, for example, or to protest Trump. And they're not organic. These things are not organic. These are all paid for, right, guys? So yeah, right. JM, make sure to everybody, make sure to share this with your friends before we start the show in earnest. So yeah, I'm on my back. I've got a back injury. Good seeing you. Awesome. PLS 667. And God bless you too, ma'am. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight because we're gonna show you the absurdity of what cultural Marxism has hoisted upon our kids, and to give you a better understanding of why kids act so retarded now. So let's go ahead and let's learn first a little bit about this new fad. Well, I don't even think it's a fad. It's a new part of the cult religion being pushed by the LGB, rainbow, whatever community on your kids who don't even know what they want to be when they grow up, but they definitely, when they're kindergartners, know if they're a man or a woman, right? So now they can decide that they're an animal too. So let's check out this activist and you'll see why we homeschool our kids.
Ms. Sigmund, that concludes the appointments.
Okay, we will move forward with our awards and recognitions.
Mr. Connors.
Mr. Connors, if you can't act like a human being, I will ask you to leave.
That's exactly what this is all about. Woo, meow, meow, woof, woof. That means Shamgar Connors, Heartwood District. I speak like that because in all aspects, except physical, I am a wolf. It's a shame. I have to explain that because so many bigots out there are not inclusive and only speak English and not animalese. My pronouns are meow, by the way.
Okay, so just really quickly, so first they started pushing the whole same-sex marriage thing on school kids. And again, I'm a libertarian. If you want to marry someone of your own sex, that's fine. But a lot of parents were saying, well, if they do that, it's going to open the door to all this other weird shit. And so now this is what's happening right before your eyes. Everything that a lot of so-called conservative parents told me, it's exactly what's happening. So this is a guy who considers himself to be a Therian. And in a couple of years, those ladies who said act like a human being, they'll be accused of being a racist, bigot, or a Therianophobe if they speak out against it, unless we do something to change the country quick. And by the way, the biggest problem that I have with Donald Trump is that he's alienating people from the value system that most of the people in my audience support. And what that's going to end up doing is getting some idiot at midterms elected that supports this shit. So let's take a look and you'll see what I mean.
Mr. Connors, if you can't act like a human being, I will ask you to leave.
This is all about. Woo, meow, meow, woof, woof. That means Shamgar Connors, Heartwood District. I speak like that because in all aspects, except physical,
I'm a wolf.
Wolf, it's a shame. I have to explain that because so many bigots out there are not inclusive and only speak English and not animalese. My pronouns are meow, by the way. Now, this is all about, we know what we the policy 2420-P.
I'm gay. I am gay, and I can't wait to see what this does for my career being gay like this.
In the Stafford policies and regulations, technically allows legally boys to use the girls' bathrooms, locker rooms, and other spaces by elevating sexual orientation and gender identity to a special protected class.
Yeah, that was the other problem we had with public schools is why the hell are they letting boys into the girls' room? Look, when I was a teenager, I had uncontrollable things that would happen downstairs, and you guys know what I'm talking about. It's your hormones, right? I couldn't even imagine if they had put me in a girl's locker room. I'd probably be walking around, standing at attention, if you know what I mean, at the thermometer level. So you can see how this is getting out of hand. And so I think the public school system, it's too late for the public school system. It's basically run by a bunch of weirdos. The teachers' unions are totally corrupt. They're run by far left Marxists, and they're allowing this stuff into our public school system. Let's listen to what this guy has to say. And you tell me, would you want your kids going to a public school with a teacher like this, for example? Let's check him out.
The superintendent has total control of this policy, by the way. I printed it if you want. So thank you for supporting all the trans students, especially over non-trans students. Our superintendent also comes from Loudoun County, where they just rightfully suspended 2 boys for 10 days where they dared to ask why a girl was in their bathroom. Hopefully he'll do the same here when that happens. Now, I'm here representing a group called Furry Gamers Against Trump. That's gamers spelled Gaymers. I'm here to discuss the bigotry going on in the schools, which we all just witnessed 2 seconds ago. I'm here to discuss the bigotry going on in the schools, which we all just witnessed 2 seconds ago. As we all know, from children telling their parents there are furries in every school in Stafford right now. As we all know, from children telling their parents there are furries in every school in Stafford right meow, all the way down to elementary schools. They bark, meow, hiss, and crawl around on all fours in the classrooms, and you let them do it. But
yeah, and they do it. And so that's something I wanted to share with you guys. So this is going to blow your mind. So my wife's getting ready to take my son to judo, and he made this comment: no matter what, mom and dad, stay away from these Therians. And of course, mom's like, what the hell is a Therian? What are you talking about? And he's like, well, they're people who think they're animals. And we're like, well, how did you find out about that? Well, at our school, they had a Therian club, and one of the public school teachers was helping with the club. And I was like, well, how come you never told us about that? Well, I never thought about it, but now that I've been homeschooled, and I'm learning about morality, and dad's been teaching me the difference between communism, Nazism, and fascism, which basically they're the same. Just one is international, which would be Marxism, communism, and then Nazism was national socialism, and then fascism was a pro-union form of communism in Italy. And of course, he was like, I could never understand why Antifa is anti-fascist when they support communism. Exactly, son. So anyways, my wife hears about this and she's like, well, tell me more, tell me more. She's so disgusted after he shows her a couple of YouTube videos of what these kids are doing that she literally almost threw up, and obviously she couldn't take my son to judo. So I said, I'm going to do a show about this. This is wild, because you guys, and I have not seen the movie Sounds of Freedom, Chris, but I'm going to take a look at it. Oh, dude, JM Unleashed, wait until you see some of the videos of these Therians. I mean, and it's the parents, right? But when the parents have been indoctrinated in a cultural Marxist education system, what do you think is going to happen? That they're going to think that this is okay and that this is normal and that you're a bigot if you don't support it. Well, Jersey, we can disagree on that. I mean, sovereigns can be citizens. I mean, the King of England is also a citizen of England, but he's also a sovereign, and we're all sovereigns under the Constitution, and we're all citizens of the state that we hail from, as well as citizens of Washington, D.C. for purposes of the national government. Oh, right on. I got JM. He just joined me. Hold on. Let me see if I can pop him in. Hey, JM. Good seeing you, bro. Hold on. Good seeing you, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm good, man. So guys, I got JM Unleashed, and he is a stacker. He's one of my buddies that I met over at Salivate Metal. He's a moderator over there. Unfortunately, we got a little feedback coming in from JM's mic, from my audio. Hopefully it won't be too bad.
I have echo cancellation on.
Let me see if that's better.
Just double check.
Yeah, it's still kind of doing it, but I'll work with it. So JM, have you heard of this Therian thing?
So I had not heard of the Therian thing at all. I had to actually look it up. Now, in looking it up, I have, I've heard of the furries, and I've seen these people dancing around, pretending to be things that they're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never heard of it as Therian before.
Well, and Ann Pisano says, I don't blame your wife. Yeah. Did you hear that? That she was so sick to her stomach, she couldn't even take my son to judo. Haven't you heard about this?
It is crazy, and like right now, the way the public school systems are here in Canada, I'd be very concerned about sending my kids there as well. I think homeschooling is probably the way to go if you can wing it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that at the end. So let's watch some more of this video, and then I'll get your observation.
Okay.
Right meow, there's extreme bigotry for anyone who's a furry, Therian, alterhuman, or otherkin. For those who don't know, a Therian is an individual. Right meow, there's extreme bigotry for anyone who's a furry, Therian, alterhuman, or otherkin. For those who don't know, a Therian is an individual who identifies as a non-human animal to some degree. Also, a furry is basically just a trans animal, or as I like to call them, tranimals. Now, since I and other students like me identify as being a furry, we're devastated as to why our gender identity and sexual orientation are being ignored and discriminated.
So real quick, guys, are you hearing feedback on my mic when I play this? Because I do have the mic a little close to my face, or is it only when I'm talking to JM? Just let me know real quick, guys, because I want to, like when JM's mic is on, I hear feedback coming through. When it's off, I don't. But when I'm playing the video, are you hearing feedback from the video? Just let me know, Clear Lake. Yeah, smash that like button. Yeah, the same thing happened to me the other day, JM, when I had that interview with Dick Heller. I kept getting feedback coming through his mic, and I'm just wondering, is it also coming through my mic when I play these videos?
It could. Are you wearing headphones?
You know what? I'm not. Let me do that real quick. Just talk to these guys real quick. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay.
Talk to these guys and just let them know who you are and stuff. All right.
Well, I know Clear Lake Drive. Good to see you, Clear Lake Drive. A lot of the other people in here, though, I'm new to. And so, yeah, as Michael was saying earlier, I met him in a Salivate Metals live stream, and I've seen him around some of the other precious metals channels as well. And so it didn't take too long for me to recognize his interest in that sector, being physical precious metals especially. And so, I got to watch some of his videos and got to know him a little bit better that way. But yeah, I'm still pretty new to Mike's channel, so it's great to meet all of you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm having a tough time switching my profile thing there to just say JM or JM Unleashed. When I put it to J for it to display JM, it just shows a J, and when I've got JM Unleashed, it comes up as JU.
Okay, I got the earphones on.
Okay.
Yeah, so JM, if you want to drop your link, I don't know if it'll show up. I have to make you a moderator, I think. If
It's okay.
Okay.
You know what? It's really, really easy now because YouTube's using the @ signs.
Yeah.
So I'll just say hi to everyone in chat again here.
Okay.
And then you'll see it's just JM-Unleashed. It's really easy to, if you punch that into YouTube, it'll come right up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So let's get back into this video. And now that I figured out how to deal with the feedback, because this is just hilarious. And look, this is what the public schools are allowing to happen on their campuses. And, again, my wife she's a traditional woman. She's from El Salvador. But, I mean, I don't understand how any parent could allow their kid to go to a public school knowing that these public school teachers are basically a cultural Marxists and they're brainwashing their kids to hate America. It just blows me away. Let's check it out.
Discriminated against in Stafford schools, just like I was discriminated against when someone demanded I act like a human.
Mr. Connors, if you can't act like a human being, I will ask you to leave.
I'm here today to request for my tranimal furkins that all schools put kitty litter boxes in all the bathrooms to properly respect our gender identities and sexual orientations. Since my liberal friends support going trans at a very young age, they should easily accept what tranimals need to be inclusive. Schools should also supply kitty litter that changes color if there's an illness. All schools put kitty litter boxes in all the bathrooms to properly respect our gender identities and sexual orientations.
So give me a bunch of ones if you think that all public schools should provide kitty litter for public school kids, and give me a bunch of twos if you think this guy's out of his effing mind.
Since my littler friends support going trans at a very young age, they should easily accept what trans animals need to be inclusive. Schools should also supply a kitty litter that changes color if there's a no. For public health reasons and inclusivity. My tranimal furkins are tired, okay, of being expected to use toilets for peeing and pooping. Everyone knows that toilets should only be used for drinking only. Another request we're making is that schools have a gender marker for records but no option to change your species. That's so bigoted. If we can support trans children, we need to support furry species as well. We also need tuna in the cafeteria every day. We also need scratching posts in every classroom. And also, if people want to say hello to each other by sniffing their rear ends, there needs to be an exception in school policy laws that happen. Right?
What do you guys think? Do you think, give me a bunch of ones if you think that schools should allow public school kids to sniff each other's rear ends. Give me a bunch of twos if you think this Tranimal is out of his freaking mind. Let's keep
Like
going.
to me,
Sorry.
to me,
Now, we all know the founding fathers were all trans furries because they wore huge wigs and fur coats. This is our rights as Americans and illegal immigrants to express ourselves. And so we need this to happen in Stafford because we're letting policy 2420-P, which was in the notes today, to be reviewed, and nothing was supposed to be changed. And I did want to mention one thing. Here's a Facebook post from one of our school board members. She put it on her page. We can't name them because they're allowed to name us, but not them. But anyway, love you guys. Please support diversity and inclusivity. Oh!
What do you guys think? Oh no, block the cameraman.
I think it's mental illness being encouraged.
I think so too. Now, one of the things that really kind of blows my mind about the left is they talk about inclusivity, but they're always trying to block your camera and silence you and report your post on YouTube to try to get your post banned. And being a libertarian, you know, as long as you're not doing something that's messing with kids, I don't know what you think about this, JM, but I never report posts. But I see that the lefties are always trying to report my posts to get me banned constantly. And I had a conversation with one years ago on a site that no longer exists before Twitter became popular. It was called Mix, I believe. And she was an activist, an Antifa member. And she specifically said, no, we don't believe in free speech for people like you. We want to silence you. And we're going to take over the public schools. We are going to take over the colleges. And we are coming for your children. And this was an admission years ago, like maybe 20 years ago, that this was going to happen. And here we go. Here we go. Let's keep listening and see what happens here.
We had Miss Halstead come over, and I'll never forget the first time she took the dog, and the dog's like, oh, and Miss Halstead says, nah, nah, and the dog was like, whoa.
The dog whisperer.
Like, that's what we need to do here on the school board. Nuh-uh. But she is amazing.
animals.
She's a dog whisperer.
Okay, so let me, so I know a lot of you guys that guy somebody made a comment, JM, and by the way, you don't have to mute yourself anymore, bro. I got these headphones on.
Okay.
As long as the audience doesn't hear anything. Do you guys hear feedback coming through?
I do have a heater going. I can actually shut that off if that helps.
Just that every time I talk, I hear myself talking through the mic. Oh, look, he's got a furry.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, Mike? Did you do you have your YouTube tab with your video playing by any chance? If so, just hit pause on it.
I
PAUSE.
don't know.
Okay, that's the most common cause for you hearing feedback. I don't hear any.
Okay,
Auditing.
Auditing.
Mabton says there is an echo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and come back in, and
Yeah,
maybe that'll clear it up.
you've got headphones on, right? So when I
No.
don't have him on, like when he's muted, I don't hear that feedback. So when he's muted, I don't hear it. But when he's on, I do, which really sucks.
Let me just try coming back in.
Yeah, all right, brother. No problem.
Okay.
All right, guys. So that was my buddy JM, and he's a really cool dude. And it's really interesting to hear someone from Canada who has like our value system, because when we think of Canadians, we think of these tranimals and these furries, right? Like we think of these guys that are into all this Marxist stuff, and you got to inject yourself with all the safe and effective stuff, or you're an enemy of the state and all that. So it's just really weird. Looks like he's back. Let me try to get him back in. Oh, I got a couple other people. I got Y7 Chai, and I got JM. So hopefully they're on mute right now, but hopefully when they come in, we won't hear that feedback. Hent Pasano says pedrosexual in the TQ plus. I just don't identify as a dog, Rob Merriman says. That's freaking hilarious. So let me see here.
I'm just going to do a quick audio check. Does everything sound better?
Well, what about me? I don't hear any feedback anymore when I'm talking to you, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah, you sound
Yeah.
good on my end as well.
Outstanding. Okay. So look, I just want to just share this with you guys. This is unbelievable. So this is an article that I found on change.org. It's another one of these far left organizations. And they have 7 petitions for Therian rights. Prevent Oklahoma from banning furries and Therians. Stop hatred on the LGBTQ plus furries and Therians. Stop Justin Humphrey's anti-furry laws in Oklahoma. Make schools and educational environments for Therians. Make safe. Stop Therian hate. Allow Therians to wear gear in public spaces and promote understanding. So I don't know about you, bro, but when I was growing up, this was called mental illness.
Yeah, I think it's potentially even generational mind control, because a lot of parents and grandparents have even like rolled over, and I'm like, whoa, like what's going on here?
Dude, it's crazy. I'm just shocked. So here's another one. Now I want you, I don't know if this guy's a furry or a Therian, but let's have some fun and take a look at this guy.
All right, stepping out, and down he goes. Look at this. The real ones are coming closer. He lies down, they lie down. It's like a copycat club. It's the funniest thing I've seen all week.
So I don't know about you, bro, but would you put on a lion costume and try to go lay with some lions?
I think that people went to a Halloween party, a decade ago and took too much acid, and they've never recovered. Like, notice a lot of these are grown people. Like, these are people in their like 30s, 40s that are really passionate about it. This is not young children that are all passionate about it, because the young children's minds are, moldable, and they're learning, they're open to new ideas. But I think that they're being programmed with pure filth.
I think so too. And look, I was reared up as a Christian, but I've never been really religious, And ever since this whole trans movement and all this weird furry shit started coming out, I've been doing a lot more research into the Bible, and especially with Epstein, and we're seeing that he was into Kabbalism and Moloch and Baal worship. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should get more into learning about the Bible again, because everything that the Bible is talking about is happening right in front of us in real time. This, Jam, I don't know about you, if you're not religious, because I'm not either, but I'm assuming that you probably had some religious teaching as a child.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty demonic shit, right? It's pretty demonic, right?
Yeah. So I agree with you completely. In fact, There's a guy that I've been following on YouTube a bit that does Bible study, and one of his lines is, he's holding a Bible and he says, "This will keep you away from evil, and evil will keep you away from this." So the
Wow.
whole idea behind that is he's encouraging everybody, to spend at least half an hour a day reading scripture. Even if you just open it up in the center of the Bible, or you start at the beginning and try to get through. He's one of these guys that's read the Bible like 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah. And we got Witchy in here. Hey, Witchy.
Hey, Witchy.
Witchy's on mute. Talk to us, Witchy, so we don't make sure we don't have any audio issues.
Yeah, how's this sound?
Oh, real good. So, Witchy,
Sounds
tell
good.
us tell us a little bit about yourself.
For a while, I've been aware of this weird government stuff where I think, we both know that Trump, his policies are better than the Democrat stuff. But in the end, as some people, unpopular politicians have said that no matter what, whoever's in charge, it's all run by the same people the king, whoever that might be.
Yeah. Yeah. Controlled opposition, right?
Yeah, and it's honestly this whole trans thing, to me, it's just another form of trolling. And some people just fall for it. It's real psychological warfare, and it's just messing people in the head. And that last guy with the...
Why are the public school teachers like... Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it just... You lost him. We lost him, Jam. He keeps coming in and out. But I think I knew where he was going with it.
Yeah, he was sounding good. He may just have a bit of a weak connection and come back on.
Okay. Yeah, but I agree with him about the trolling thing. I just think it's a lot of people with attention-seeking behavior,
Well, I think there's some really evil ones out there too. Like I do think some of them are, how do I say, pedrophile,
Yeah.
Especially when you see them, they're in their 30s, they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, and they're advocating for children doing this sort of thing. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and it's always the
It keeps crashing on my phone.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead and finish what you were going to say. I'm a lawyer, and I'm guilty of cutting people off all the time, and I'm really trying hard not to. My wife has already made me couch bound for doing that.
Yeah, I just think that guy that went up in front of all those people, that city council, was it?
Of school board.
School board. Okay. He just seemed like one of his, how ridiculous can it be?
You're probably right. Well, we lost him again, JM. So look, I'm going to play the next video just to show you the absurdities of what's going on out here, man. This is just wild stuff. Let me see if I can get it to pop. Well, this is about as good as I'm going to get it, but I'm trying to get it to where it'll show all of us and we can still... There, it's a little bigger now, JM. Here we go. Check out this next one, guys. This is one of these... And by the way, I don't know if you guys have ever read Deuteronomy and all that, but, it clearly says man shall not lie with man as he does with woman and all that stuff. And again, I'm not criticizing anybody or saying you're a sinner because, man, I'm not the one to cast the first stone. I'm guilty as hell. But, to go out there and say you're a Christian and try to take over a church and do this kind of stuff, just set up your own Moloch worshiping temple, right, guys? And you'll know what I mean once we watch this.
You wear a Jesus Love You shirt and you get kicked out of a Pride Festival. That's what happens.
I'm a pastor. Of course, I believe in healing brokenness, but you will never hear about shame, judgment, or even sin at this church.
So he's got a Jesus loves you shirt on.
Right here's good, guys. So again, tell me your name again. I'm sorry.
Mason.
Mason. Yes, Carla. It's a pleasure. JP. So are y'all here as supporters, JP? Because I have a concern that y'all aren't.
We're just neutral. We're just checking it out, just talking to people.
Yeah. So the recording. Some people have been doing that to try to get clips, like what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
To try to get clips of us saying something. So it's uncomfortable for people because it doesn't feel like your energy is really here as supporters. And so we want people here as supporters. And for those that, even if you're neutral, that's fine. But I'm going to ask that y'all do this someplace else and not here.
Well,
as
so,
the pastor here.
Can I ask a question? Is that cool?
Quickly, because I've got to get back in.
No, yeah, I just have a question. So when it comes to like content, what you guys do,
Is that a furry?
what would be the problem of just like documenting it?
So
Like not because we're not bashing it, we're not holding signs. Like
I
what's,
hear you. And this right here, it's just concern. It's just makes people uncomfortable, and this is for folks. So I'm going to ask y'all again, but I need y'all to be the property. That's the second time, gentlemen, that I'm asking you to be the property, please.
Well, I
Thank
was
y'all
just
so much.
I was just
That
wondering
the
what was the issue exactly.
It's just obvious that y'all. It's obvious that y'all are not here as supporters, and so if you
How
want
so?
to, that's fine.
what's the
But
obvious
we would
part,
like to
honestly?
be, guys. I'm not no more.
No, ma'am, I'm
If
just
you're
asking.
really gracious, you would say.
No, I'm just asking
hey,
like
thank you,
what did I exemplify or do or say that would make you think we're not?
I'll end y'all's conversation. You go back in.
At this point.
I mean, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus in there. It's okay, Y7 Shy. We'll get you in another time. It looks like Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus in there. And the only thing that's different about this guy is that he's straight and that he's got a Jesus t-shirt. Do you guys see anything? Put it in the comments if you see him doing anything that's disruptive. They were cheering and hooting and hollering when they got to silence him. And that was the point that I was trying to make about the left, is that the only time they're inclusive is when you agree with them 100% of the time. And I think most libertarian-minded people like me and JM, we don't try to silence people. We want to hear what they have to say, even if we disagree with it. We don't try to shut them up, and we don't cheer and holler when they get kicked out of a gathering of people who are gathered in the name of the Lord. But in this case, who is their Lord? But let's go ahead and finish it up.
She's with the church leadership. She asked you to leave, so you're criminally trespassing now. So we'll have to advise her to leave.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey.
Have a good one.
Okay.
This is what happens when truth leaves society. Chaos ensues.
I would have to agree.
You wear a Jesus love you shirt and you get kicked out of a Pride festival. That's what happens. Hey, thank you guys for what you do. I know most of you guys probably don't believe in this crap, but it's okay. You guys just doing your job. It's all
Bad
good.
connection.
Jesus loves you guys. Jesus loves you, bro. Appreciate it, brother.
So it sounds like I've got a bad connection. So here, we'll go into the next. So anyways, let's get back into furries and Therians. So I found this other post on Reddit, right? This is just blowing me away. Public schools need to respect furries and Therians, sexual gender identities, and stereotypes. Now, Ann Pisano, are you saying that because I'm on Wi-Fi that I've got a bad? Because I'm not using the direct plug-in. But so again, it started
just
with
so you know, Mike. Just so you know, you sound fine to me. The only thing that you will incur is when you're sharing a video like that. If you try to talk over it, sometimes it'll come through robotish. Which is why, especially if I'm a guest, I always try to mute up during the thing, unless we're trying to have a conversation. But you got to know it will crack it up a bit.
All right, maybe I'll mute my mic when I'm playing videos. All right, so again, let's get back into the Therian thing. So this is no joke, guys. This is a big deal, and it started with the whole teaching about marriage, right? Same-sex marriage, and people flipped out about that. But over time, if you don't accept it and you don't allow public school teachers to talk about it, you're considered to be a bigot. And so that is the issue with the public schools is, why is it even being talked about? School is somewhere where you go to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. And in some states like Oregon and Washington, they're trying to outlaw math and English because they say it's racist. So what is it, guys? You put it in the comments. what is going on with these public schools? I mean, it almost seems like they want a generation of idiots who are going to vote for idiotic politicians in idiotic policies. What do you guys think? I think I know the answer. Let's look at the leader of one of the biggest teachers unions, and let's try to get an idea of maybe why is this happening. So this is Randy Weingarten and her wife, and she happens to be a rabbi. Now, I'm just a little flabbergasted here because maybe it's because I'm older. You know, I come from a different generation, but I have a lot of Jewish friends. In fact, I got being a lawyer. You know, there's a lot of Jewish people in law, but I always thought that marriage was supposed to be with a man and a woman, but maybe there's a different sect of Judaism that we don't know about. But Randy Weingarten
I think there's a lot of people that claim to be Jews and Jewish, but really they're not. They're so many different institutions and different trains of thought that have a canned phrase attached to them have been hijacked, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that could be it too. I've heard that before. One of my friends, John Felix, thinks that the modern Jews in Israel are actually Edomites, and they're not even the true children of Israel. And Edom King Herod was also an Edomite. And a lot of people may not know that if you know a little bit about the Bible, but King Herod was the guy who, I guess, wanted to put Jesus to death, right? But yeah, so this is the woman who runs the biggest teachers union in the country, Randy Weingarten. And a lot of you guys may not know about the World Economic Forum, but this is a group of billionaires who believes in population control. And they're real big on making sure the whole population's vaccinated. Bill Gates is part of this. So is Elon Musk. They're into transhumanism, replacing people with robots and things like that. But yeah, let's listen to what Randy has to say about her new partnership with the World Economic Forum.
It's a partnership with the World.
Let's start from the beginning here.
And 3, we are about to announce a partnership with the World Economic Forum to create a curriculum that will lead to good jobs and solid careers.
All right. So the bottom line is you've got Randy Weingarten, the leader of the American Teachers Federation, proudly announcing that she's forming a partnership with the World Economic Forum. So your curriculum is going to be coming from guys like Larry Fink of BlackRock. He's the guy who pushed the whole trans agenda on big corporations. So now your public school kids are going to be getting your curriculum directly from him. Rob Merriman says traditional values and morality is their enemy. And that may be true, Rob. And again, my issue is I'm totally cool if men want to pretend like they're women and dress up, like girls or whatever, that's fine. But pushing it on children when they're little kids, when they're very impressionable, I have a problem with that as a parent. And that's why I support homeschooling. Give me a bunch of ones if you support homeschooling too. So this was one of the things I wanted to show you guys, JM. So this is one of my posts over in my community page on YouTube. And I say, homeschool your kids. Teachers unions are Marxist run. Get your kids out of the public schools, right? Communist propaganda and freaks. And then I show this image. Schools all over the US are canceling Picture Day due to Leon Black, the co-founder of the parent company that owns Life Touch, being listed in the Epstein files. Have you heard about this one yet, JM? This Leon Black guy?
I'd not heard about him, but I've certainly heard of the World Economic Forum and BlackRock and these. I haven't kept up with the news quite as current as you are, but I'm willing to learn. All
right. Well, so I don't know if look, we looked at some of our old pictures after we saw this because my wife has really been getting into this. And we noticed that the same company, Life Touch, they're the same people who took our school pictures.
Okay.
And guess what else they have access to besides your child's picture? They're the ones who mail you the pictures. They've got your address.
Right. Yep.
And we know that Epstein was into finding hot chicks. Well, there you go. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, as a lawyer,
his talent scouting corporation.
man, as a lawyer, I got to tell you, I'm real big on putting evidence together. There's a lot of kids that show up missing, like hundreds of thousands of them. And when you look at the listing of missing children, it does seem to be overwhelmingly very attractive young girls.
Yeah.
And a lot of them go missing from their neighborhood or near their home. So it's just food for thought. Another reason why you probably don't want to have your kids in the public schools.
Yeah. I'm kind of muting and really checking what I'm saying because it gets into adrenochrome and all that sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, you'll get canceled.
I'm going to mute up for the next 5 minutes. I got to take a quick break, but I'll be right back if that's okay.
No problem. So Ann Pisano, you're not alone. I'm in the same generation as you, but not enough. Just in that time that common sense was a big thing. Yeah, it's just common sense, man. I mean, we're letting these public school teachers have too much power over our kids. That's the problem. And they figured it out. And so this is the end result of what's going to happen with a public school education. The Mandami, the New York mayor, hired this woman, is one of his advocates, I guess, to help with community issues. Let's listen to what she has to say. And Mamdami's the guy who has got Muslim prayers blaring all over New York now on loudspeakers. And he's a Marxist. You see business owners fleeing from New York City in droves because he wants to tax them, and he wants to have a special tax for white people because apparently we're the enemy and we're the cause of all the problems in the world. But let's hear what one of his newly appointed appointees has to say about protesting.
I don't give a damn if they burn down Target, because Target should be on the streets with us, calling for the justice that our people deserve. Don't talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted black people.
Okay. So I'm going to turn the music part down, but let's just go ahead and let this play. Yeah.
Thing is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you.
It's interesting. She's saying, man, she's alluding.
I don't give a damn if they burn down Target.
She's alluding to white people, of course, because we're the enemy, right? But when I grew up, I don't know about you guys, but I never learned about like being violent or looting, or in fact, I always looked up to Martin Luther King Jr. And I felt bad that black people had been treated poorly. So I'm just trying to understand who she's talking about. But we know that this is what's being pushed by the public schools. So let's listen to what this other teachers union activist has to say. By the way, these are the people who are teaching your kids in public schools, guys. Let's listen to this dude.
Florida students are confronted with videos of ICE raids, of families being torn apart, and of Americans being murdered for using their constitutional rights. They respond. They organize. They speak out. And they do what American students have always done in moments of injustice. They stand together and demand safety for their peers, their families, and themselves. And that response, while framed by some politicians as radical, is rather...
Okay, so just really quickly, what he's talking about is Dementia Joe flooded our country with over 20 million illegal aliens by some estimates. And obviously, it's being done because the Democrat Party probably can't win elections based on policies that this guy is espousing. But they can win elections if they redistrict the country. That's good to know, Commissioner. So the whole point is California figured out a long time ago that if you set up a sanctuary city, which is a city in your state that does not cooperate with the government to deport illegal aliens, that when they get enough bodies, they can redistrict and create a new congressional district. And so what Biden was doing is flooding sanctuary cities with illegal aliens in the hopes that he could redistrict the country blue. Now, by most estimates, California would lose at least 2 Democrat House seats if the illegal aliens were deported from California. It would turn red again. And by the way, most people in California, other than the ones that live on the left coastal areas, are conservative. And I'm one of them. We fled California because I believe in the right to keep and bear arms, and I have to be able to protect my family against weirdos like this and the people that Biden flooded the country with. So that's what's really going on. And when I went to school, we didn't organize protests, but the students aren't the ones who are organizing these so-called protest guys. It's this guy right here. It's the public school teachers who are organizing these protests. So let's go ahead and listen to what he's got to say.
Reasonable. It's rational. And in a moment like this, it is required. To any students being told that they do not have the right to speak out or walk out on their campus, I want to be clear. This is the United States.
Well, that's actually called contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Okay. An adult encouraging a child to engage in what's called truancy, that's a crime in most states. So I don't know what the F this guy's talking about, but he's clearly a freaking idiot. So let's go ahead and listen to what this jackass has to say.
Of America. You do not shed your First Amendment rights when you step foot through the schoolhouse. Florida students.
So what they're doing is they're basically weaponizing your kids to become good little leftist activists and to push their political agenda. And again, this is the issue that I have. I know a lot of people say, well, ICE is bad. Well, look, I have a problem with most law enforcement, okay? As a defense attorney, I know the games that they play. But there wouldn't be a need for ICE if Joe Biden hadn't flooded the country with millions of illegal aliens, many of them criminals, like violent criminals. Right, Commissioner? So that's the problem that I've got is like, what is this guy talking about? We wouldn't have a need for ICE at all. Right, JM? Yeah. It's like we're trying to get rid of these criminals that Joe Biden flooded into our country, gave them free stuff, free hotels, free food, social security numbers, welfare checks. And of course, the leftists will say illegals can't get any of that, but that's not true. If you have one family member in the United States and you live under their roof, you're entitled to collect all those benefits. And they do collect those benefits, billions of dollars. And why are we giving them social security numbers? We already have a problem in America, JM, with paying our seniors what they paid into Social Security. And these illegals go to the front of the line. You know, my wife immigrated here legally. She had to stand in line. She had to learn about her heritage as an American. She had to swear an oath to uphold the Constitution before she could earn her right to be a citizen. And so they framed it as it's anti-Latino, it's anti-this, it's racist. But no, it's not. The people who are, it's anti the people who legally immigrate, Sam. What do you think about that?
Well, it's anti-American because it's pushing Americans down and like it's making the illegal aliens the priority. Like, what's up with that?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. And why are we making illegals a priority? They don't have a right to be here. They haven't even proven that they should be in our country, right? I mean,
if they get a free meal and a free trip back, and no harm was done, go home.
Yeah.
Come through legally, right? We're open, and I have a similar viewpoint, like because I'm in Canada, I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
Similar thing here, but I don't think the problem's like we don't have people flooding over our borders to come here because Canada is not nearly as great a country, but.
Yeah. Well, that stopped as soon as Trump got elected. He put U.S. Marines on the border, and we don't have illegals flooding into the country anymore. But we heard CNN say, oh, if we just pass more immigration reform, we can stop it. Well, the immigration reform is called doing your job as the president and sealing off the border.
Yeah.
So
well,
that was all.
Too, like a problem with rules and new rules is that criminals don't follow rules, right? You can put as many rules in as you want. The really clamping down on enforcement can have an effect, but just coming out with new rules, most criminals really don't give a crap.
Well, and the law that Biden wanted to pass actually created a pathway to allow more illegals to come into the country. That's the problem. They'll name a bill like the bill to save babies, right? And, oh, if you don't support this bill, you don't support babies. But the bill was really about increasing abortion, for example. So, like, just because of the title, people that go to these public schools are so stupid that they just believe anything CNN tells them to think. So this next one, okay, because I'm so sick and tired of people telling me that, oh, public school teachers aren't far left Marxists, they're just normal. Well, here we go. The Party for Socialism and Liberation in Oakland coordinated a middle school walkout. The PSL is a dangerous Marxist-Leninist organization that now has a foothold in your schools. These degenerates fed minors revolutionary scripts, hoisted them onto the back of a truck, and whipped them into a screaming socialist fervor before a crowd of adults. Where the hell is our Department of Education and FBI? Well, we know that Barack Obama filled our FBI with people that think like this guy on the right, the socialist. And let's go ahead and listen to what some of these people, let's listen to what this woman, this young girl that he trained.
The future starts with us. We are all the future. Socialism is the future.
And so, Jam, that's the problem that I have with Trump, is that his personality is going to allow idiots like this to get into office at the midterms. What do you think?
Yeah, you could be right. I'm not that politically astute to really put bet on it. You know what, though? I did want to say hi to Sterling Cannabis, who's just come into your live chat. Good to see you.
Sterling can join us, too, if he wants.
Yeah, Sterling Cannabis. Like, I'm not as into politics as I'm sure you are, and like it seems like most Americans are really, really into politics. Like it almost it seems to consume about half the Americans that I know, and I respect that because I realize they're very concerned about the present and the future.
Worried, worried. If you have kids, you're worried. You know, being a parent, it changed everything for me. Yeah.
I do keep up with things, and I probably get 80% on a current affairs test. but go into like high detail and, make a guess on what's going to happen if this person gets appointed and that. Wow. Like I just as easily hit a button on a slot machine.
I'm with you, brother. And that's cool. And look, I was a Democrat. I'm a recovering Democrat because the Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party that I belong to. I mean, they burn American flags, they support Antifa, and they push this cultural Marxism on our kids. Listen to what these kids have to say. This is going to blow your mind, man.
What is the best country in the world?
What is the what?
What is the best country in the world?
Mexico, definitely for sure Mexico.
Mexico?
Mexico.
So why do you think these people don't want to go back?
I think it's because we sacrifice a lot to be here, and we all want people to come in the right way as well, but things are better over here in America, and they're gonna try their best to be here.
Well, you just said Mexico is the best country in the world.
It is, but I think that I'm sorry.
What is the best country in the world?
What is the what?
What is the best country in the world?
Mexico, definitely for sure.
So that's the problem, guys. So I would venture to say that they're children of illegal immigrants, and they think Mexico is the best country in the world. Well, why the hell are they here in our country? See, when I was growing up, we pledged allegiance to the flag. We loved our country. I joined the Marine Corps fresh out of high school. And to me, it's USA all the way, just like with you, Canada all the way, right, JM?
You know what? It is a little different with me. I identify more as North American. I've
Copy
been
that.
to American camps. I've pledged allegiance to the flag. And I feel a real brotherhood with my American friends and neighbors. So I'm not all Canada. Canada's the best. I'm a realist too, right?
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying, and yeah, I'm with you.
So I've got a question here from Commissioner, a law question. If a cop informs someone, a protester, with the crime that they're arresting them, excuse me, with the crime that they're arresting and they interfere, could accessory charges be given? Commissioner, I don't really understand the question, so I don't want to try and guess the answer either. But I'm definitely open. We can do another show. Look, I do a lot of cop watch shows. In fact, if you want to type in there in the chat, the kind of show you want me to do about cop watching, that's my specialty, civil rights law. We can cover all that stuff. That's how I became famous on YouTube, was cop watch videos. Sterling, I'm going to let you in 1 second. First, really quick, I want to play this video of this former school teacher, because there's so many people saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. School teachers aren't Marxist Democrats. They're not pushing a transgender ideology on children. Well, let's listen to what this former school teacher has to say about that. I like to let my own clients do the talking for me. Here we go.
Colorado just reported that they are down 10,000 students because they are going to homeschooling. As a former teacher here, I find that quite interesting. And I think it needs to take some self-reflection to figure out why. Why are so many people going to homeschooling? I mean, my entire group is previous teachers. All of us were there and said, nah, I'm doing it at home. And I think that's some things that we all need to be thinking about.
Oh, yeah, 100%. What do you think, Sterling?
Absolutely. Good evening, Mike. Good evening, JM.
Good seeing you, brother.
Hey, Sterling.
My undergraduate work.
Everybody, welcome Sterling into the chat. Sterling, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Small Eastern Kentucky University, and they were teaching the kids to be Marxist teachers back then.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the people that are, retirement age now. So
yeah.
It's not like a new thing. This has been going on. It's deeply embedded.
Sterling, tell my audience a little bit about who you are, man.
I'm a retired toxicologist out of Big Pharma. In all of my years that I worked for Big Pharma, I was with Park Davis and then with Pfizer. My pension comes from Pfizer, probably one of the worst companies in the world. But when I was with Park Davis, they did real good at blinding us and telling us we were doing really good stuff. When Pfizer took over, my eyes started opening up a whole lot. But I never worked on a cure for anything. And I have come to the conclusion that cannabis is probably the most ethical source of curative medicines that I have come across in my life. But it all depends on what you're looking to do and how you consume it. But that, and I am a silver stacker. I met Mike a few days ago on a stream where we were talking about our silver stacking journeys, which is kind of how I know JM as well.
Yeah, and I met JM from Salivate Metal, and I'm actually going to be a guest on Salivate Metal show tomorrow night. So,
cool.
Yeah, small world, huh?
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Chris is asking me if I respect STEM degrees. I don't know what that is, but yeah, accounting, finance, nuclear physics. Chris, I think those are all really great degrees. The issue is most of those jobs are going to be replaced by AI. And I really think, especially for boys, that boys should learn construction, plumbing, electrical. That's going to be the new job of the future. That's going to be the new Harvard. Those are the ones who are going to be making money. All these people.
AI cannot replace the trades.
Amen, brother. And AI can't grow good indica either.
I think it was Elon Musk that said anything that's not a mechanical occupation in nature will be replaced by AI. So like if there's moving, if you have to move around to do it, much less likely. If it's just you're sitting on a computer all the time, that's likely going to be replaced.
Right. And so the real reason why the left wants all the kids to have a free education, Sterling, and you can pipe in what you think, is because it's an indoctrination program where they indoctrinate these young kids into being good little Marxists. What do you think about that?
Oh, there's no question about that in my mind.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I've got a pretty good education. I've got a daughter who works. She works for the government service. She runs the crisis operations out of one of the big military bases out west.
Yep.
She graduated with her master's degree from a Ivy League university on her 23rd birthday.
Wow, that's impressive.
Her brother, who is 6.5 years younger than her, never graduated high school because he couldn't deal with the indoctrination, and he's a lot smarter than his sister.
Well, there you go. I mean, so you've heard it from the actual students. So
yeah.
Well, let's listen.
I've lived through it.
Let's listen to what this Marxist has to say with her little rainbow flag in the background. And let's get a better understanding for all you people who say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Mike. The Marxists haven't taken over our education system. Let's hear what this one has to say.
One thing I could say about Kent State University and our Teacher Ed program, they're all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Their thing is anti-higher education and anti-public education. Yeah. So that's what they're trying to come. They want to keep white men in power, and they want to come and try to overtake.
Oh, I know.
Public
Trust
education.
me, I know.
Yeah. I'm walking away from that.
You told our investigator that it's all about keeping the white man in power and the white man wants to take over education. Is that true?
One thing I could...
And that is true, right, guys? I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do. You just said that.
They're trying to push us away from God. And
that's it.
Get us.
That's it. They want to desecrate Christianity.
Yeah, and I see a comment here from Dial-Up. Are we talking about schizophrenic Bolshevist left? We need to reform capitalism. They have a reason to be disgruntled. Their anger is redirected into destruction. Well, first of all, Dial-Up, I appreciate the comment, but we don't have capitalism in this country. We have crony capitalism. Laissez-faire capitalism, as described by Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nations, is not what we have today. We have a form of capitalism in this country that is more like what the Nazis had. Unless you're in the club, you're not getting money. And that's not what laissez-faire capitalism is about. And if we got rid of the Marxist income tax, the Bolshevik income tax that teaches class warfare and all these lefty IRS agents, I would say the vast majority of your problems would go away. What do you guys think?
Well, the welfare system, which comes out of a whole lot of this, I think, was a big step towards the downfall.
Yeah.
When you teach people to be dependent, guess what? They become
more dependent, and they become more lazy and soft, right? Because they don't have to go out there and fight for your right to party. They can just sit at home and wait for the postal service to deliver your check.
Right. And speaking of the postal service, guys, the letter carriers union is about 99% Democrat, and they're the ones who carry all the mail-in ballots. So I'm not saying that they help rig elections, but think about all the people who do feel that that's unfair. It gives them a reason to say there was election interference. So why do we have mail-in voting? I mean, why don't we just, if you love your country enough, it seems to me that you can show up at a polling station and go cast your vote, right, guys?
There are the real exceptions that are needed. People that are in service to the country, out of country.
Yeah.
People that are in hospitals for extended periods of time, things of that nature. I'm sorry if you're sitting at home hugging the porcelain god on election day. I'm sorry, you missed the election.
But we have that. It's called absentee ballots, and they can be verified in advance. But just
for those people that need it, I think that it's valid. But other than that, no.
Yeah, and we have that. Absentee ballots have a verification system. Mail-in ballots don't. That's the problem. That was a real problem with the last. When you have at least half the people thinking the election was rigged, that tells me that we need to go back to paper ballots and like you said, have a limited situation for people who can't make it, right? Just like welfare, right? It shouldn't just be given to everyone. It should be as a safety net. Like when I was growing up, we looked down on people who were on welfare, and it was like peer pressure to go out and get a job and get off the welfare. Are you guys old enough to remember that?
It appears like it's a lifestyle now.
Oof.
Oh yeah. No, like it's the same with all this stuff. Like it used to be, 1% of the people had, mental illness. Probably not even 1%. But now it's like it's being encouraged in like 5, 10, 20. Like it almost seems like half the population has mental illness. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I'd say. Now, guys, I want you to meet, this is my friend Brett Pike, and he has a homeschooling program called Cubs to Bears. And I've had him on as a guest on my show several times. So I'm going to play this for you because I know you're probably new to him, but he's going to lay it out for us in a way that we probably couldn't do. He's really good. So I'll provide some links in the description later, but let's check this out, guys.
Today I taught my students how businesses are able to pay less taxes than their employees. So say you make $1,000 as an employee. You pay 7.65% Social Security and Medicare tax, which is $76.50. You have $923.50 left. Then you pay income tax, which we'll just call 12%, which is another $120, and you have $803.50 left over. You paid $196.50 in taxes on that $1,000, and now you could spend on your mortgage, your car payments, your credit card, food, whatever you want. But if a business makes $1,000, they could buy $300 of supplies, $200 of equipment, software, internet services, marketing. They spend $800. They didn't pay any taxes on that. They only pay tax on the $200 remaining after spending. 12% tax, they paid $24 in taxes on that original $1,000. So the employee made $1,000 and paid $196.50 in taxes. But when the corporation made $1,000, they paid $24 in taxes. And that's because an employee earns, then is taxed, and then spends. But a corporation earns, spends, and then is taxed. And this was part of a larger lesson on finance, entrepreneurship, and taxation. We also talked about assets versus liabilities. Assets being things that put money in your pocket, liabilities being things that take money out of your pocket. We then discussed the window of opportunity, which is about training yourself to see opportunities that other people don't see, and how to accumulate assets or how to start businesses at low cost to no cost. And every one of our students is going to be practicing that by selling real things in the real world on Facebook Marketplace. And the kids were so engaged. This is how easy it is to teach your kids financial literacy and about entrepreneurship. And it shows how inept the school system is that they don't do this, because our kids deserve so much better. And that's what we're going to give them. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears, books, class
That's a pretty good tutorial.
Yeah, I like it. We need to, I think children need to be taught about finance and how taxes and the monetary system and how business works. In addition to just like survival instinct, a lot of this stuff's not being covered. It's that, what did you call it? The STEM, science and math and all that sort of stuff, engineering.
Yeah.
That's being pushed.
Yeah. Yeah. And notice how he talked about accumulating assets, gold and silver, guys.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, right up our alley.
And even teaching the kids that when they're looking at a $1 bill, that it's technically a banknote and that it's technically debt. They're holding on to debt. So just showing them the difference between that and an asset, which could be anything, but gold and silver is beautiful example.
Yeah, they don't want kids to learn about a business, do they, JM? They want them to be slaves to the government.
I think so, because they pay more tax.
Just and they're dependent on this.
I love that message of saying, how your typical person who's an employee, they pay their taxes first, and then what's left over they get to spend. With a corporation, they spend, right? And they're going to obviously have it weighted towards things that are tax deductible.
Yeah.
And then they get taxed on what's left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're in a corporation, when it gets down to the last 60 days before the end of your corporate year, the corporate chiefs tell you, spend everything you got in the account.
Yeah, that's true. I'm all about the S Corp and having like a family run corporation, because once they get too big, they don't care anymore. Like when I look for gold and silver miners, I try to find gold and silver miners like juniors where the wife and the husband still run the business. They've got a vested interest. Yeah, that's what I look for. It's just common sense, because nobody cares more about your own family or your own business than you, right?
True.
Yeah.
So you're talking about mining companies that are family run?
Yeah, I try to find junior miners that still have the original owners. Take In-N-Out Burger, for example. Still family. It's a still family-run corporation. And look at how great they're. I don't know if they have those in Canada, but they're really great burgers.
There's a few private fast food chains here too. I don't think that we don't have In-N-Out here. I haven't seen any yet.
Well, like the typical In-N-Out store manager. Go ahead, Sterling.
They're not prominent up here in the great frozen tundra.
Yeah. Hey, what state are you in again?
I'm in northern lower Michigan.
Oh, okay.
What we do have that I'm very happy about is Popeye's chicken.
Oh, yeah.
We do have those around here.
You have what?
We have the Popeyes around here.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Now, the ones in California, you got to be careful. You got to wear body armor, because if they run out of chicken, the people start rioting.
I don't know. I don't do fast food at all.
Yeah.
I cook all my own food. I actually even cook my own dog's food. And my cat's food even.
Now, nice. Clear Lake says, I bought equipment I used every day, wrote it off over 7 years, equipment I used only now and then, rented, wrote it off right from the top. Yeah, so that's the problem. We shouldn't even have to deal with that. We shouldn't have an income tax at all. It should be a tariff-based system like Andrew Jackson wanted. There should be no central bank. There should be no fiat currency. It should be based on gold and silver. That's one of the things that really attracted me to guys like Sterling and JM, is that they believe in hard assets, gold and silver, because that's the only real money. I guess you guys agree on that, right?
Absolutely. The one thing with tariffs, now hear me out on this for a minute.
Yeah.
It will get to the point with tariffs that we will become self-sufficient, and we will be bringing in a minimum of products from off continent, so we won't be bringing in as many tariffs. But the way to continue a flow in a very fair way is to only have a sales tax.
I agree. It's more fair. I mean, people, oh, you're rich, so you should pay more. Why? You earned it. That's your money. If you believe in equality, that means everyone gets taxed equally, not based on what they earn.
And what can you control? What you spend.
Amen, brother. And if you don't want to buy that certain thing that has the tax, you don't have to.
You know, yes, you don't tax food. You don't, you don't tax utilities.
There's so many things.
So they're gonna say, like, if you propose that, they'll say, oh, but if we don't tax your income, then how can we start putting money away for your pensions for you?
Yeah, right.
Right. But that, that they just tag that, they keep tagging it on.
I ran the numbers. If the money that went into Social Security for me just went into the Dow Jones, I'd have about a $60,000 a year income off of it right now.
No question. Just think if it would have gone into bullion.
You know what I get from Social Security?
What?
$24,000.
That's ridiculous.
Which is that's effectively an annuity, right?
It's nothing. And they're trying to tax the shit out of that too. And now, like with guys like Mandami, this New York guy, well, if you're white, you should be taxed more because you supported institutional racism. It's just all insane what these guys are doing. So I got my next video here from Brett Pike. I'm going to just try to get through these videos, then we'll close it out. We've been on for a while, and I know you guys are all in different time zones, so let's just listen to some more Brett Pike.
Yeah,
I
know Clear Lake.
You guys are going to love this.
When people say that white people have no culture, are they lying or are they just too dumb to understand it? Because for most of human history, the king or the government was above the law, but the European would change that. So in the 1000s, there was this guy, William the Conqueror. He was the descendant of a Viking, and his ancestors had settled France. The Vikings, like the Celtics and the Anglo-Saxons and the Romans and the Spartans, were warriors who were brave and courageous. And when they got to France, they, like all Europeans, became more and more influenced by Christianity. And that's when warrior culture began to morph into chivalry. And now people were expected to be brave, courageous, loyal, display self-control, protect women and children, and above all, carry yourself with honor. Well, in 1066, William the Conqueror conquered England, which established the feudal system. And the new nobility earned their land through combat, bravery, and honor. Knights through chivalry, protection, and honor. This feudal system created a culture of order and respect. But fast forward 200 years, and England had a corrupt king. He was levying absurd taxes, throwing people in jail whenever he wanted, and confiscating land. But that was a bad idea in an honor-based culture. And after a rebellion, King John would be forced to sign the Magna Carta.
That's right.
The Magna Carta changed everything. Because for the first time in human history, the law was placed to...
And by the way, let me just stop really quick. The Magna Carta is one of the documents that's incorporated by reference into our Constitution. So leftists will say the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, none of those apply. Now we have a Constitution. That is not true. As a lawyer, I can tell you, it says right in the Constitution, in the year of our independence, thus incorporating all of our English common law heritage into our Constitution. Now, Thomas Jefferson said that Saxon common law should be the law of the land, except where otherwise abrogated by the Bill of Rights, because the king didn't honor the Magna Carta. Let's keep listening.
Above even the king. This was a revolutionary advancement in the human experience. The government, the king, was now bound by the law because it had never been this way anywhere. But it was the...
Yes, it was called Rex Lex. The king is law. And under our system, it's called Lex Rex. The law is the king.
Honor culture of the European that would change that. and it established fair trials and limitations on taxes. This was revolutionary, and the Magna Carta led to the establishment of English common law, which is the foundation of law that everyone takes for granted today. This law is the culmination of the intersection between Christianity, warrior culture, and the feudal system. Well, fast forward to 1776, and the Magna Carta is a primary influence over the Declaration of Independence.
That's right. When you read the Declaration of Independence, you'll actually see excerpts that are taken from the Magna Carta.
And later, the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, along with the Greek democracy, the Roman Republic, the Italian Renaissance, the Catholic Church, the Protestant Reformation, and the French Enlightenment ideals of individual liberty, which expanded upon the Magna Carta's revolutionary ideals of individual rights. And it's what made upward mobility a possibility for really the first time in human history, and created the culture of rugged individualism, a uniquely American experience. In short, American culture is the culmination of all of the great contributions.
That is true. The only thing I would take exception to is Greek democracy. Our founding fathers looked down upon democracy because it was mob rules. The Benjamin Franklin said it best: a democracy is when two wolves and a sheep show up for dinner and decide what's on the menu. A republic is where two wolves and a well-armed sheep shows up for dinner to contest the vote.
The European people have made to the world. It's the Viking warrior. It's Christianity. It's chivalry, honor, respect, bravery, order. It's the Magna Carta and English common law. It's the Greek democracy and the Roman Republic. It's the Italian Renaissance and French Enlightenment. It is individual liberty and the rugged individualist. And our children should be taught to be damn proud of that.
That's right. And our public school system teaches our school children that all of our founding fathers were white racist, misogynist, and that they were evil. Get your kids out of the public schools, guys. That's all I can tell you. Just get your kids out of the public school system. What do you guys have to say about that?
And they also push the whole thing about, you know, we can't have this happen to our democracy, or we're not going to have this become a part of this democracy.
We're not a democracy. We're a republic.
And I hear it on the media all the time, and I'm like, what? I thought it was a constitutional republic.
That's what it is. And a constitutional republic stands for the concept that the rights of the individual stand supreme over the rights of the mob. There's so many things that I want to get into, but because we're running short of time, let me just play some more Brett Pike, and I'll narrate when necessary.
How come we never hear about the violence of Marxism and what the Bolsheviks did to the Romanov family? You see, the Bolshevik Revolution took place in October, and Tsar Nicholas and his family had already been imprisoned for months. But when the Bolsheviks took power, it became a thing of pure horror. They carried out the Red Terror, and over the next 4 years, 200,000 people would be executed. Clergy, aristocrats, political rivals, peasants, anyone who was a threat to their power. Another 500,000 people.
Basically the same thing that Antifa supports is what the Bolsheviks did back then.
Were imprisoned and tortured. But as the White Army and the people of Russia resisted, the Bolsheviks worried that the Romanov family represented a symbol of hope. So Lenin gave the order. Tsar Nicholas, his wife, his 4 daughters, and his son were all executed, not for committing a crime, but for being a symbol of hope. The Bolsheviks would go on to intentionally...
And many people feel that that's what happened with Trump. Lawfare was used against him. They tried to assassinate him. And that ultimately, they used the FBI and the CIA against him illegally to get FISA warrants. And that's what led to his landslide election in 3 elections. One of them, obviously, according to at least 51% of the population, was a rigged election. And all it did was strengthen him. And so their only choice was to try to assassinate him.
Starved 10 million people to death in the Holodomor. Men, women, children, and they were especially brutal to Christian priests because, like the Romanovs, they represented hope. And this is why I write books on the dangers of socialism.
So I don't want to get in trouble from Google or YouTube from supporting someone who I work for, but let's keep listening.
Is it that public schools only teach about the transatlantic slave trade. They don't teach that there was slavery in the Ottoman Empire, that it lasted for 600 years and 5 to 10 million people were enslaved. That they not only enslaved men,
And they don't teach that most of the slaves were sold by Africans. They don't teach that either.
but the most valuable slaves were women, because sexual slavery was not only permitted, but it was institutionalized in the Ottoman Empire. So they would get many of their slaves from Central Europe, many of their slaves from the Balkans, and they would enslave Hungarians, Russians, Ukrainians, which is why the word slave...
Hey, sounds kind of like Epstein Island, guys. And the word slave obviously comes from Slavic. That's right. You got it.
Comes from Slav. And why don't schools teach about the trans-Indian slave trade, which lasted for over 1,200 years and enslaved 4 to 10 million people? Or the trans-Saharan slave trade, which lasted for over 1,200 years and enslaved 9 to 17 million people. All of which ended, ready for it, not before, but long after the North Atlantic slave trade. And yes, chattel slavery was practiced in all of these places. In fact, in 1776, the majority of countries in the world practiced chattel slavery. And where Europe and the United States were early in abolishing slavery, it went on much longer in the Middle East, in Africa, and in places like China, Thailand, and Mongolia. And if you went back to 1776...
But all you hear about from our public school teachers in our Marxist colleges is evil white men and institutional racism. And it's all you hear 24 hours a day, brainwashing these kids into hating the very people who created this whose ancestors created this amazing constitution that we have today.
You would find 90 to 95% of the countries in the world practiced slavery. And that had been the norm for thousands of years. And the United States of America banned slavery in 7 states when the rest of the world had only banned it in 7 countries. And the reason this...
But yet all you hear about is evil white men, but slavery still goes on today in Africa and Saudi Arabia, where they have dark-skinned people, but you'll never hear about that in the public schools or the colleges.
How many stories have you heard of people winding up in the merchant marines, shanghaied?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to finish this video, guys.
This isn't taught is that everything in school is framed through a Marxist lens of oppressed versus oppressors. So they intentionally teach our history out of context, which is a form of brainwashing that is designed to make dividing and conquering society easy. Because absent of historical context, it allows them to frame the United States of America as some uniquely evil place, when in reality it is Britain, the United States of America, and the West that is responsible for driving the institution of slavery into extinction. You could learn more about that in my previous video.
So what do you think, guys? Isn't this guy amazing?
He's got a pretty good story put together, definitely.
Yeah.
The delivery is good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least he gives a fair summation of all the facts, not just the cultural Marxism that the public school teachers and the colleges push on these poor kids with these, newly developing minds, right? Makes you think.
They've been pushing
He's definitely onto it with the mind control.
Yeah. So let's see here. Dial-Up says, the day after they got Trump by the ear, he announces J.D. Vance, Palantir boy. Yeah, Dial-Up, I've got a real problem with Palantir, and I've done videos about that. And that's why I tell you guys, look, I'm not really a Trump supporter, but I am terrified of getting another person like Joe Biden or any of these leftists like a Mondami in the White House. I'm scared for our midterms. I mean, Trump's big mouth and his brash attitude is going to end up getting us stuck with somebody like Broom Hillary as president. That's what scares me, because most of his policies I support. I mean, Sterling, I think you kind of agree with that too, don't you? A little bit?
Pretty much. There are things that he does that all I can do is shake my head.
Yeah.
I was never a fan of Donald Trump when he was developing his celebrity.
Yeah.
Okay? It did not entertain me. I was never a fan.
Yeah.
You know, and I had heard some harsh things about the guy. But
Yeah.
his policies in politics are pretty much right up my alley.
Yeah, traditional conservative Democrat.
And you got to know, 10 times better than Kamala Harris.
God.
And
Yeah,
like, so like even from my small
you have to have
here
an IQ of less than -10 to really vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys agree in the sidebar there with Sterling's comment. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you're voting for her, it's for ulterior motives. You know, and the biggest one was I hate Trump.
That's it. That's all they could come up with. Yeah, and look, my dad met Trump, and he'd read his book, Art of the Deal, and my dad was a developer, a land developer, so he started out digging ditches for $2 an hour, and not even Trump did that, but the point is that he really liked his book, and he went and met with him at a book signing, and he said, "This guy wouldn't even shake my hand. I have a totally different opinion of him." Trump wouldn't shake anyone's hand because he thought he would get germs, and he thought that he was a total egomaniac dick. But he still voted for him because he supported his policies. And yeah, so that's the same way I think too. I mean, he just joined our Second Amendment case, the Wolford case, to make sure that people of the state of Hawaii could have concealed carry rights. So you'd never see a Democrat do that. In fact, the Supreme Court justices were arguing, along with Obama's former attorney, that the black codes, these anti-black racist codes, should apply to prevent the people of Hawaii from being able to keep and bear arms, which is just crazy. But that's how hypocritical that party has become. So let me get into the next video, guys. We're almost done with the show.
Did John D. Rockefeller really say, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers"? If you ask the fact checkers, they'll say, it's unproven. But let's talk about what is proven. In 1902, Rockefeller started the General Education Board, something his family would spend $180 million on in the early 1900s. That is a ton of money. And this guy, Frederick Taylor Gates, who was Rockefeller's fixer, I mean, imagine the things Rockefeller's fixer must have done. Well, Rockefeller made him the president of the General Education Board, and he wrote this pamphlet, which was for their people, not the general public. And here's what it said. In our dream, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility.
So these are the people who basically created the United States public school system, just to give it some context.
To our molding hands, with perfect docility to our molding hands. We shall not make these people or any of their children philosophers, men of learning, or men of science. We are not trying to raise amongst them authors, orators, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, or musicians, nor raise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers,
just like the Epstein Island people. To all those Epstein Island people, all we are is goyim, or cattle. And that's basically...
Rockefeller also started the pharmaceutical industry. Thank you very much.
That's right, brother. And there's another video that Brett does where he covers petroleum-based medicine. Dude, I can't wait to have you on more because you're educated. Let's get this video over.
Politicians or statesmen. Well, have you yielded with perfect docility to their molding hands? Well, the good thing is a lot of people haven't. And not only are there people like Thomas Massey calling for an abolishment of the Department of Education, but there are currently 3.7 million homeschoolers in America. I actually turn a lot of my reels into courses because the more people like me and you take control of our children's education.
Homeschool your kids, people. Get them out of the public schools while you still have a chance where their brain isn't totally destroyed by these people.
The better the future becomes, which is why I also write books on how information is controlled.
So basically, that's it. That's basically the show. You guys want to say anything else in closing? I definitely want to talk more about gold and silver. I know what to do. Sterling, what do you think? Do you think that silver is going to blow back up once the China markets reopen next week?
I'm not looking for it to rocket up. but I have been making a statement for a few months now, probably since about November, that I expect nothing but volatility for basically between then and the time that the Federal Reserve is abolished.
Yeah. Yeah, or at least at least if interest rates get cut, we know it's going to blast off, right?
But because it's been rocketing, I mean, could we wind up in a short time of some stability? Maybe, but I wouldn't expect it to last long if that happens.
Yeah. But do you think it's going to keep going up though, like it has been? But
the direction is going to be up.
Up, yeah.
But seeing days where silver loses 20%, I think will become commonplace. Seeing days where it gains 10%, I think will become commonplace.
Yeah, what do you think, JM?
It could. I don't know if you guys know Eric Sprott, but I was listening to the Sprott Money update tonight, and they were talking with David Morgan about what if it just went sideways now for 3 to 5 months?
Could.
And they were like, oh, like that would actually be healthy. And neither of them actually think it's going to do that. But they're saying, that would help everybody kind of like decompress and everything. Like a lot of people's minds almost.
That would be very healthy. And I think if that happened, the premiums would come down in about a month or so. But right now, everybody is so on edge. Some of the online people are $20 for premiums on a AFC.
Gosh.
Right now, if I was like a small local coin shop, I think what I would be doing, like even if I had really deep pockets, is I'd just be saying, because of the current volatility for generics. So we're talking like Sunshine Rounds, Sunshine Bars, that Buffalo, that type of thing. If you want to buy it, we're 10% over spot. And if you want to sell, we're at 10% under. Then you got a 20% spread. And I think a lot of people would actually understand that, but I know that's not very competitive. But like that's what I would
Rob
do.
asks in the chat, March shorts will be interesting. What do you guys think about that? The Comex and all that, the Crimex?
Oh, I heard that a lot of them already settled. There is a lot of deliveries going on, but yeah, it will be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting, it's important, but we're also talking paper there, and so it's like in the long run, how important is it? Because I think that paper market at some point just has to collapse.
It has to be illegal.
We're not going to heal until it does.
Yeah, Sterling, that's another example of crony capitalism. Like the paper billionaire Crimex market gets to decide the price of silver and retail doesn't have a say in it. That's not capitalism.
Right now, 2 years worth of mining supply has been getting traded on a daily basis. 2 years of global annual mining supply. 2 years of it per day.
That's shocking.
That's not simple, basic, hedging, like, oh, we've got all this inventory. We just want to hedge against any losses.
I didn't know that.
It's manipulation that has gone into hyperbolic mode. It's, the new Weimar.
Yeah, the new Weimar Republic. That's right, man. So guys, I'm kind of pooped, but I really do spend almost 2 hours. Wow. But I really do appreciate you guys joining me. Normally I do a lot of reaction videos where I show cops beating people up and I talk about what they did wrong and how you can sue and all that.
I've watched a few of yours since I met you the other night now.
Oh, cool.
But up in my feed.
Nice.
I've left you a couple of comments.
Oh, okay. I'll go back and take a look. But, but my real passion is teaching people about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And I try to use those Cop Watch videos to teach people about, real money, about the education system, about the Marxist takeover of the colleges and the schools. Homeschooling in particular is a really big passion of mine, because if we can't educate people and teach them about our heritage, our country is doomed. So that's what it's all about for me, Sterling.
Well, I'll give you a little insight into my foundations on this. I was raised through the graces of the hierarchy of General Motors.
Okay.
My godfather was lobbyist for General Motors.
Oh, wow.
I had 4 different times in my youth, between the ages of 8 and 12 years old, had a meal with Jerry Ford before he became president.
That's impressive.
He knew who when my mom had never met him, my cousins had never met him, my sisters had never met him, my aunts had never met him. When we all went to Washington, D.C., and Martin had hooked up this thing where we could go into his office. We walked into his office and he looked at me and said, "Hey, how you doing?" He did not say Sterling because that's not my real name.
Oh.
But at any rate, the second time I was having dinner with this gentleman, we were eating fondue, and we were taught. It was when I started learning about what the whip was in the House of Representatives, because he was the minority whip at the time.
Okay.
He was telling me what his responsibilities were. And through the night, between him and Martin, they had told me that there was unmistakable, it was going to happen by the time I retired, that this was going to be a socialist country.
Oof, it seems that way.
This was a handful of years before the man became president, and he told me this was going to happen.
Well, it looks more and more like the state is controlling it.
Absolutely. But I have watched it and felt it so closely ever since. I remember in my government class in 5th or 6th grade, it was when Nixon was about to go on trial, and they were wondering what was going to happen, because Agnew had already they were looking at him, and Nixon was in trouble, and I told him, I said, Ford will become president.
Yeah.
And then when it happened a few months later, they said, "How do you know that?" And I said, and from his own words, he said everybody in Washington owed him favors.
Oh, I believe that. Just like when Reagan, after he got elected president, he got onto an airplane and said, "Under no circumstances will George Bush be my vice presidential running mate." And then when he landed, he said, "I'm proud to announce that George Bush, former director of the CIA, and paren, will be my vice president." So, yeah, so we definitely got to do some more shows, guys. I'm more than happy to come on your shows too if you want. If you want to have me.
All I do are the shorts. I put up a short just about every day. It's sometimes they might get as much as 1 minute and 10 seconds, but that's all they are. And it's just me and my dog walking on the beach.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm always available if you guys ever want to have a legal mind, for Rocky or for UJM. I'll be on Salivate Metal tomorrow. I have no idea what it's going to be about. He just invited me to come on. So I'll just talk about my passion for precious metals. And I really like Salivate, by the way, guys. Everybody's like and subscribe to Salivate Metal. He is really cool. And I'll make a bunch of shorts out of this video that I'll share throughout.
I love Sal. He's a little hyperbolic, but I think that's what makes him exciting.
Yeah, he reminds me of the old FM and AM radio shock jocks with some of the skits that he does. It's really refreshing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the scam calls too, where
Oof,
it is
it's the best.
like you've identified, like he's a fan of the Jerky Boys.
Oh
If you're
man, yeah, of
familiar with
course.
that.
Yeah.
But he's also like a vast knowledge of precious metals information.
He's amazing.
So yeah, I look forward to that. That's tomorrow night, probably 6 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get off work a little early. I'm preparing a case for trial, but I'll take the time and come on. I don't know if he's gonna have my video on or not, but I was gonna set it up on my good video and do it upstairs. But if not, I can just have my face pop in like it is now, you know.
Yeah. And I like the idea of having you on one of my streams too. Like, I don't know how much you've checked out my channel, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just sit back and we chill and watch the markets and have a conversation. But I'll reach out to you about it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, with that being said, goodbye, Clear Lake. Thanks for your kind comments. It's been watching Sal for over 2 years, giving him $1.99 for memberships. And I agree with Dial Up that LBJ, beyond a shadow of a doubt, was a piece of garbage. He created the welfare state, which has led to this anti-white racism that's being taught in the public schools. And Y7 Chai, thank you. And I'm glad you joined me.
Look up the divorce statistics and family statistics from the 1950s. Black versus white. The black families were more stable than white families.
You're
That's why
preaching
they
to the
didn't
choir.
do them.
He had to break up the black family. He hated black people. He just wanted to get them on welfare. That was the goal, and he did it. But yeah, thank you, Clear Lake, Dial Up, JM Unleashed, all you guys for joining me tonight. I know that these shows aren't like, I'll get like 30 or 40,000 views when I do a cop watch video, but these are the shows that really have meaning to me, because even if I just have one or two people, it's one or two people who are like-minded, and I appreciate that a lot. So with that being said, guys, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to save, hit that alert bell, and make sure to always save, like record these things, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.